Hello. Hello, women out there. Welcome to Empowering Women Impacting Lives. And in this video today, I am going to be talking about domestic violence and what domestic violence is. This month, October, and every month in October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I wanted to make a video to help women understand um, what domestic violence is so you can be aware of it. Um, Domestic violence is uh, a very important topic to me. One of the reasons is because my life was threatened in a domestic violence situation. And also, I have a relative that was shot, killed, and brutally murdered in a domestic violence situation. So this particular topic means a lot to me. And a lot of people think, a lot of women as well, just think that domestic violence is just physical and physical abuse and physical attacks, beating, punching, hitting. But domestic violence is way more than physical attacks. Domestic violence is a lot of things right now today, you know. And a lot of women may think that, oh, I'm not being abused. Or someone might say, oh, well, my mom wasn't abused, or my mom isn't being abused. She's not being abused. She wasn't abused. She wasn't in no domestic violence situation. But let me tell you something. Anytime a man is controlling you, that's a part of domestic violence. You're in a domestic violence situation. Domestic violence is built on control. A man don't never have to put his hands on you. He don't never have to beat you, put his hands on you, do nothing. But if he's controlling you, he's abusing you. And control is a part of psychological and mental abuse. So if you're being controlled by him, he's abusing you. Okay? So we are going to get into this video. Let's talk about domestic violence and what it is. Okay, let me move this over so you all can see. What is domestic violence? Okay, so according to the United States Department of Justice, domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship. Notice it said any relationship, okay? Any relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain power and control over another intimate partner. Domestic violence can be physical, sexual, emotional, economic, psychological, or technological actions or threats of actions or other patterns of coercive behavior that influence another person within an intimate partner relationship. This includes any behaviors that intimidate, manipulate, humiliate, isolate, frighten, terrorize, coerce, threaten, blame, hurt, injure, or wound someone. Now, that is the United States Department of Justice. That is their definition. Another definition that I looked up by research is domestic violence is also known as intimate partner violence. Okay, domestic violence is a pattern of behavior used by someone to establish power and control over another person through fear and intimidation. Okay, this was on one of the websites here. I did reference that website. And as you can see, domestic violence is about control. It's about control. It's about control. Someone trying to exert power and control over you. Domestic violence is about, again, maintaining power and control over an individual. Control is when a person tries to hold power and rule over you and dominate your life. Some of the examples telling you what to do, what you can and can't do, where you going, what time you coming back, giving you orders, making decisions for you. You know, all that's a part of control. Domestic violence can happen between girlfriend or boyfriend, okay? It can happen between an ex-girlfriend or a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, an ex-husband, an ex-wife, relatives, lovers, friends. Domestic violence can happen between friends, roommates, intimate partners. Domestic violence can also involve violence against children, parents, or the elderly. So a lot of times when people hear domestic violence, they think it's just about a romantic relationship or whatever the case may be, or that you're, you know, married to the person. No, you don't have to be married to a person for it to be domestic violence. Domestic violence can happen between friends, lovers, homie, lover, friend, whatever, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, it doesn't matter. The title doesn't matter. Domestic violence is about, it's about someone trying to hold power over you and control you through fear and intimidation. Okay. So, and as you see here, it does say any relationship. So that can be a friendship. It could be any type of relationship you in. And in domestic violence, it happens against children, also against parents, you know, and against the elderly. So we know more about what it is, you know, what it's about and how it affects, you know, people. It doesn't, domestic violence is not, it's a broad range of things. It's a broad range of definitions. It's not just one thing. It's different types of domestic violence. And it doesn't just affect two types of people. For example, it doesn't just occur between a husband and wife. It can occur between friends. It can occur between an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. You know, it can occur between two lovers, uh, a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Whatever the case may be, it can happen. Okay, and there's different types of situations that domestic violence can happen in, and a lot of people don't know this. Okay, okay. Now let's move on to the next point here, where we're talking about domestic violence. Let me move that over a little bit so y'all can see. So um, in the past, back in the 1960s and the 1970s, domestic violence was treated more as a family problem and not a crime. It was normal back then for men to beat on women. And when the cops were called, they treated it as if it was just a family problem, you know, because back in those days, men held a lot of power. They held a lot of power back then. I'll go back into that in another video. But the you know, the 50s, the 60s, I mean, men, it's like they kind of ruled in that time, in that era. But right now, today, it's not like that, you know, because a lot of women could not work or did not work. The woman's role was to be in the house, you know, be a housewife, take care of the kids, cook, clean, whatever the case may be. But we're in a whole different era now. This is a whole different time. Okay. And let's move on. Domestic violence was described as happening, again, happening inside the home only between husband and wife, like I had mentioned before. right now today, that's how it was back in, back in time in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Domestic violence was, it was more narrow. It was more um it was more narrow. It was more of um limited to, you know, a few specific things like physical abuse, or a man beating on his woman, a husband beating on his wife. You know, it was narrowed down to only like a few specific things back in back in the day, the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever that time, in that time frame, domestic violence was more limited. Okay. And again, it was described as happening inside the home only between husband and wife. Now, right now, today, domestic violence is more is it's more broader now. It's not as limited. It's more broader now. It's more it's a lot of different things. Domestic violence has a lot of uh, uh, different definitions, and it means a lot of different things. And there's different types of domestic violence now. It's not so limited now. It's broad now. Right now, today, domestic violence is considered, it's a crime, you know, and it can happen inside or outside the home, you know, in any abusive relationship, inside or outside the home. And you don't have to be married to someone, okay, or living with someone or dating the person for it to classify as domestic violence, or for domestic violence to occur. And this is where a lot of people are confused about. Now, back in the day, it was like that, but now today, domestic violence is so broad, and it it means so many different things, and there's so many different types of domestic violence that it can happen outside the home. It can happen outside the home. Okay. You don't have to be married to somebody. You don't have to be somebody's wife. You know, um, you don't have to be living with the person, or dating the person, at that specific time for it to classify as domestic violence, or for domestic violence to occur. And it's so important that women understand this, because a lot of women don't understand, or don't even know, you know. Um, so we want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what domestic violence is. And then right now, today, domestic violence doesn't just happen, of course, between husband and wife, or girlfriend and boyfriend. Domestic violence can happen between two roommates. It can happen between two friends. Okay. Uh, it can happen between lovers, ex-lovers, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-husband, ex-wife. It can happen between, there's no specific title that it can happen or occur against now, right now, today. It's completely, it's completely different, and domestic violence has widened and broadened out. So, you know, um, we want to just make sure that we understand what it is and who it can happen to. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to children, elderly, you know, parents, so, and maybe back in the day, it wasn't considered domestic violence, as far as against elderly or friends or whatever. But now, I mean, it can happen against whoever now, and you don't have to be in a union married to somebody for domestic violence to happen. Okay. If you or someone um, is in a domestic violence situation and you need help, um, I empower women to call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 1-800-799-7233. Again, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, call 1-800-799-SAFE 7233. Also, you can contact your local police authority if you're in a domestic violence situation, and you can contact them about putting an order of protection up that can, help you. And you can contact them about resources, about different domestic violence shelters or different domestic violence offices in your local city and state area, wherever you are. I empower women to speak up and stand up for yourself, because it's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed to talk about. It's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed to talk about. Don't hesitate. If somebody threaten you or whatever the case may be, don't hesitate to contact law enforcement, put up order of protection up. I empower women to do what you need to do to protect yourself. Do what you need to do. And you look out for you, for your protection and your safety, because there's too many women out here getting killed in domestic violence situations. Too many women, especially Black women. It's too many women, getting killed out here in domestic violence situations. So I empower women to take the steps necessary to do what they have to do to protect themselves. Go get help. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed, because it's nothing to be ashamed and embarrassed about. And the reason why a lot of women may feel ashamed or embarrassed is because they don't know what to do or how to do it or who to go to, But I empower women to take a stand on this, especially Black women, because domestic violence has Black women are at the highest risk for domestic violence. And I empower women to take a stand against this, because we are not living in the 40s and 50s no more. We are in 2023, and we have to end the silence. We have to take a stand against this as women of all races, because if we don't, then they're going to continue to do this to us. They're going to continue. It's going to continue to happen. So I empower women to speak up, to speak out against domestic violence, and I empower women to take a stand for yourself. Do what you need to do to protect yourself. Get out of the relationship before it's too late. Move before it's too late. Get out the relationship or whatever you in. Get out of it before it's too late. Okay. And that's going to conclude my video today on what is domestic violence. If you want to see more videos on domestic violence, this will not be the only video I will be putting up. I will also put up more videos if you would like to see more videos about domestic violence. Please subscribe to my channel, Empowering Women, Impacting Lives. And until the next time, women, I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Put yourself first when it comes to these men. We all know we're supposed to put God first, but I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about when it comes to being with a man, put yourself first before him, because he gonna put himself first before you. And these men nowadays, they taking women's lives. I mean, now and in the past too, they're taking women's lives for just no reason. So you have to do what you have to do for you, women. Always remember that. Put yourself first. Get out of the situation, because ain't no man worth your life. No man is worth your life. All right, women, we'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.